Hi everybody, it's Joey Remini from seekingbalance.com.au, and I'm really excited today to be talking with Randy, who's calling in from the United States of America. So welcome, Randy.
Thank you.
And Randy is a member of the Rocksteady program. I've actually never met Randy until now, so it's a real treat for me. I was saying to Randy how, I have this community of people who I support all over the world, and it's just, it gives me goosebumps when I get to meet people and hear their stories and get that human connection. So I'm thrilled to learn about you and meet you. And the purpose of our call today is Randy wanted to speak a little bit about her journey through Rocksteady. She's currently up to module 3. And, I get a lot of people contacting me or saying things like 12 weeks is too long. I can't wait 12 weeks, or I'm not sure if I can commit to this. I don't know if it's going to work for me. And of course, I just have to throw it back and say, you'll have to do what feels right for you. I can't know what feels right for you. So by sharing stories, I'm hoping people will see that different people come at it from different places. And Randy, would you like to talk through your symptoms, your diagnostic process, and how you came to find the Rocksteady program and decide for yourself, I'm going to do this? So talk people through how it was for you.
I will. I've had, I guess you would say, a lifelong issue with balance. We don't really know why. I was diagnosed with BPPV when I was in my late teens, and then a lifelong migraine. And my incidents of the BPPV, when I would roll over, in bed in the middle of the night or in the morning to get up, were becoming more and more frequent.
Yeah.
At one point, they were like every 5 years, and then they just started slowing down. And it's been many, many years since I was a teenager. It had gotten to the point where they're every couple of weeks, and I was starting to miss work, which causes a lot of anxiety. But concurrently with this, I started getting this other kind of dizziness and dis-ease within my body, like a spatial disorientation. I would wake up and just feel like I wasn't really in my body and not real sure where I was. And I remember a friend told me, well, you just have to get up. And I said, I don't know where up is.
Yeah.
I don't know where up is. And that is such a horrible feeling. So I went and had all the tests that you recommend, through my doctors, my neurologist, since I have migraines for so long. I'm always in his care. So he had the scans done, and there's no brain tumor and there's no stroke. So that's great news in one respect, but in another respect, it was a little disappointing, because then it was like, am I making this up? Is this just really all in my mind? Which is what a lot of people tell us, I think. That's been my experience.
And that's actually a really important point. So to everybody listening who has gone through the exhaustive and expensive investigation process and having water or air in your ears and being twisted in chairs and, tapping and hearing tests and blood tests and heart tests and hormone tests and psychology or psychiatry examinations, you're not crazy, right? So the dizzy sensations and the tinnitus, or the noises in our ears, the disequilibrium, those sensations are mapped in our neural networks in the brain. It's how the ears, eyes, and spine are communicating. Now, if that's not happening in a cohesive manner, so there's a mismatch, all of your tests can come up normal. So normal ears, normal eyes, normal heart, normal hormones, normal everything, normal brain. It's just that the way they're communicating is actually out of sync. Okay, so you're not imagining it, you're not crazy. It's happening inside of you, and actually only you can feel it. Nobody else can relate to it. So I just wanted to kind of tap in on that, because I think that's a really important hurdle to come over when it comes to healing. You have to back yourself, really, despite going, you look normal, get over it. So carry on. You had all the tests, and then what?
All the tests came back fine. And then, long story short, the company where I worked closed our site. So suddenly everybody there loses their job, loses their health insurance.
Yeah.
So this came right at the time after they had completed all of my testing and said, nothing sinister is going on. So we recommend you to balance therapy. So I started looking online. There has got to be something I can do right now. I'm not big on medication, and my neurologist didn't want to medicate me, I'm happy to say. I have to do enough of that with the migraines. I sure didn't want to do it with this issue. I love the idea of being able to do things myself. And I've done physical therapy for other things, a pulled neck, whatever, and found physical therapy to be really, really helpful. So it wasn't that I minded going, but as I investigated the program, as you said, we're going to put cold water in your ears, we're going to blow cold air in your ears, we're going to spin you in a chair. And I just thought, I am not doing that. I just cannot. Why are you going to torture me when I'm already having a problem? So I started looking online. I found your YouTube. I found some YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
So I listened to what you had to say, and it was like, my gosh, this woman understands. I was thinking things in my head, and as I would think them, you would say, and you feel like this, and this happens. And it's like, she absolutely gets it. So then I saw that you had this program with many different options on your website, so much free information on your website. So when you see what a robust site it is, that made me think, okay, she's real. Because the first thing that comes to mind is, no, this is too good to be true. Yeah. So I actually have a dear, dear friend who lives in Australia, and she is my support. When you talk about getting support, she may not be close, but she's, she's very healthful. She's a few years older than I am. I'm 60. She's 63. She's super healthful. And I said, have you ever heard of a Joy Remedy? And she goes back immediately, oh my gosh, yes, she's amazing. She has these great programs, blah, 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 blah. Wow. So that's when I knew you were real. So I signed up for the initial, free information and starter kit because I wanted to investigate a little bit. And it may be not something that most people want to talk about. Obviously, I had to look at the expense. I'm now unemployed. I'm unable to look for work. So this is going to come directly out of my pocket. I'm not going to get money back from my insurance, particularly through this program. I couldn't believe how reasonable it was. Mm-hmm. You should be charging more. It was such a value for in-home therapy 24/7. I'm a little prone to anxiety without being dizzy. So when I can't sleep, and I was only able to sleep about 2 hours at a time, propped up in bed. I could not lay down. I just would become so disoriented when I was laying flat. So I could log in and look at your site, listen to you talk, watch another YouTube video, get some tools to help myself 24/7, which was just critical for me because I had really worked myself up into quite a state.
And to be honest with you, if I give you the therapist point of view, we're working with clients who can have, a lot of questions, a lot of anxiety. They can be working in session with us in that 1 hour every 2 weeks or whatever and be like, okay, I'm good now, I'm calm, I'm confident, I've got it, and then go home and lose it all. And so
I would do that.
So for me, building Rock Steady, I was actually thinking, okay, this will be great for my remote clients who can't travel. But then I was surprised when my local clients who could have walked to my clinic, so they were absolutely accessible, they were getting so much benefit out of having that 24-hour click play, listen to this, and they're learning at home. So between our sessions, instead of them kind of getting some things, forgetting other things, and kind of not having a solid base, they were going home, researching, learning, and coming back with more questions, so their learning was absolutely amplified. So I think that 24/7 support thing goes both ways, because as a therapist, we can't live on your shoulder. You can't take us home. You can't call us at 2 a.m., and believe me, people try and email or call me, and it doesn't work like that. We've got families too. So the Rocksteady program is really a super practical solution.
And even if they need, if you need more hand holding, then you have, and I don't mean that in a bad way at all, then you have the longer 6-month program. And I really liked and respected in some of your, initial informational YouTubes that I was watching, and you said, you may not need my full services. You may find what you need in my free resources. Look here.
Many people do, yeah.
Exactly. And so that's a lovely place to start. And had I known that 20 years ago, that could have helped a lot then. But then it's wonderful to know that if this progresses, then I have tools. And that's what I want more than anything. I want tools that I can use. I don't want pills. I don't want psychiatric appointments and evaluations. I want tools that I can put to work, because I feel now so empowered just in the first 2 sessions, and 2 days into my third module, I feel so empowered. Just the knowledge, just the knowing, this is normal. Because my friends who look at me and say, you look fine, there's nothing wrong, you're imagining it, they don't understand. I don't feel normal inside. So what does it feel like? I can't even tell you what it feels like. It's just so bizarre. It's like nothing you've ever felt.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I think I've probably said this on my YouTube channels before, but it's a little bit like having a computer that needs a software update. You know, the computer's fine. It looks normal. It's healthy. There's no cracked screen. It's just that it's running on old software.
Mm-hmm.
And so humans are a little bit the same. And especially when we do go through big life changes, whether that be a hormonal change through adolescence or menopause, although it also happens for men, but change of job, change of country, you know, change of house. These things can actually require a kind of emotional, mental, spiritual resetting in our being. So it's kind of beyond the physical, and it is this invisible thing that doctors can't pinpoint. And the reason they can't pinpoint it is because it's happening at that subtle neuroplasticity space. So I want you to talk through a little bit about the self-study element, okay? Because I'm sure there's people out there who are just thinking, oh, I'm not sure about this, you know, I wasn't a good student at school, you know, I'm not sure. And
That's me.
well, I think it's a really valid concern, you know, and, you know, will it work for me? I mean, we have a 97% and I think growing, I need to do my stats again, benefit rate with Rocksteady. So it's really huge. And I think the reason for that is because the program teaches you to become the expert and learn in your own way. And there's a variety of modalities. You can do written work, you can do standing, sitting, lying. I mean, there's music, there's just, it's a really broad spectrum of learning kind of modalities.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because we go through, well, I use that root of self-compassion and self-kindness, it's kind of hard to not feel better about it, you know, because we're setting up a space of creating humanness rather than perfectionism.
Yes.
So do you want to talk through a little bit the piece on self-study, the challenges, the resistance, the joys, like what was it like for you?
Since I have migraine concurrent with everything, my life is migraine management. So I'm already a bit of a prisoner to the migraine, but it's almost like a reverse Stockholm syndrome. I've had migraine so severe and so long that I've learned to like identify with it, and I'm like, it's like I'm one with it. And so I don't like it, but I realize that this is just the way it is. It's become my friend almost. It's my geography and my compass. And everything is kind of guided by that. So, okay, I'm at peace with this lifelong migraine deal. And now they come along and say, well, you're probably going to have this dizzy deal the rest of your life too. I just can't do that. That's just like, you're asking way too much of me. I can't add anything else on my plate. So I was very distressed over that. I couldn't look at the screen, so I really couldn't get on the computer and do very much for very long. I have to darken the screen as much as possible. Yeah. Sometimes if that's not enough, I have to wear my sunglasses to read it. So there were a lot of times I couldn't really watch the videos because to see it move was just too distressing. But you have materials and articles that I could read, and you had straight audio that I could listen to with my eyes closed.
Yeah.
And that was, you just thought of everything. On a good day when I could actually look at the screen and watch something, then I did. I read the articles. I'm kind of, I guess, a research nerd. So I really enjoyed looking for articles to help me with what my problem was that day, you know, what my worst symptom was that day. But the more I learned, the more excited I became that this is 100% doable. Yeah. And I thought, well, I have these two different kinds of vertigo, you know, the two different causes. Is it going to work? And you said in one of them, this is going to work for whatever makes you dizzy. There are tools in here that will help you. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that just made me relax. So the whole process of going to the website, reading, gaining the knowledge, just became like these gentle hands on my shoulders, holding me down so I didn't spiral out into the universe. And your voice was just this little angelic sound talking me off of the ledge. And I don't mean to make it sound, melodramatic, but anybody who's had these feelings, and I know you've dealt with it yourself,
Yeah.
it's very serious at that time. It won't kill you, but it is 100% debilitating.
Totally. Any last words you have to say, Randy, to anyone out there who might be on that ledge right now and they're going through YouTube and they're like, help me?
That's exactly how I felt. Help me. And one thing that has really stood out for me, he did a YouTube video with you, so I think it's safe for me to say his name. Bruce, I believe, that had the tinnitus or tinnitus. We say tinnitus. He said when he was discussing his tinnitus with you that he got to the point where he could almost play with it.
Yeah.
And granted, tinnitus and vertigo are different things. But I laughed when I heard him say that because I thought, my gosh, that's what I'm doing. Now when I go through my day, I try to turn everything I'm doing into some kind of like a balance or proprioceptive exercise that I can do. And I am playing with it to see, how does that make me feel? Oh, so I'm a little dizzy when I raise my head like this. And I'm playing with it. And to go from being terrified, being paralyzed, being depressed, to being playful with symptoms because I know I have the tools to deal with it.
That's awesome. Congratulations. And, the neuroscience behind that is, we have all of these communication messages, like millions of them, no doubt, moving through our brain. And when we're in a fight, flight, freeze, panic, which you learn about in module 4, by the way, the brain seizes up. The communications are roadblocked and traffic jammed, and they can't be as effective. But when we're in joy and we're relaxed and we're playing, so there's no pressure, there's no expectations, we're open and curious, the superhighway, the corpus callosum between the left and right sides of the brain, it's most efficient. So that's why we have this space we go into where we go into a flow when we're focused and we're engaged, and there's a lightness. And the difference between play and being apprehensive, anxious, ambitious, or stressed is quite different in terms of how your brain operates.
Okay.
And for repair and neuroplasticity, play is really important. And that's a really huge concept that Rocksteady tries to bring to people.
I had heard of neuroplasticity before, but I didn't get it. I'm not a science girl. Yeah. But in your slide presentation, you had like the two little neurons. And for some reason, as I looked at that and heard you describe it, I finally understood it for the first time. Yeah. So you have a great way of using wonderful metaphors that are very effective. The shaken soda.
Yeah.
Wonderful metaphors that I find super helpful.
Yeah, that's great. So for those of you listening, if you're new to this, seekingbalance.com.au is my website. That little neurons talking slideshow is free. It's the masterclass. You can sign up on my website for the starter kit and the masterclass access, so you can get that now. It's immediate access. And that will talk you through a little bit more and give you perhaps a little bit more insight into what Randy's referring to. So thank you so much, and it's a bye for now.